I love you, baby.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Some He Austin and welcome to my first match review. Before we get to the match itself, I'd like to give a shout out to everyone who showed up and showed out at Q2 Stadium last night. Regardless of the result and the shit we saw, honestly, it's a reminder of last season, especially like, you know, what we saw, the bad parts of it. But last night it was electric, at least from my point of view. Might have just been alcohol, but I think it was mainly Los Verdes and La Murga that made it happen when, you know, the players and the coach couldn't. To kick things off, I'd like to say what a poor first half. Like, credit where it's due. I think Minnesota and their quite young team and players, they surely came to play. Like, we probably made them look better than they are, but they deserve their win. And, like, from our end, including myself, I knew it was going to be a difficult game. Maybe it's the PTSD from last season, but, like, the confirmation that Jerussi was ruled out, that didn't help. I was hoping there was a miracle that he'd play or be at least on the bench, but that didn't happen. But, man, I like to remind people that, you know, it's our first game. Things could have been different with him, with Sebas. And when we saw Rubio and O'Brien come on and even Valencia, it helped. So I still have a little bit of hope that we can improve, but it's not looking good. So our starting 11 wasn't much of a surprise as we predicted, besides Jerussi. Owen started instead of him at the 10 with Danny and Ring behind him. Not much to highlight from the game, from the first half at least, other than Minnesota United's number 17, Lod, who scored in the 34th minute, and then 2 minutes later, Väisänen comes off injured with a reported foot injury. Via Eric Goodman on Twitter, Leo left the stadium in crutches, so that's not good. We had Cascante come on to replace him. Throughout the first half, we liked the midfield. We liked creativity, overall fight. Everything was too reminiscent of last season, which is frankly unacceptable. Our best players who showed up for me in the first half were Danny and obviously Brad Stuver. As for Minnesota, the youngsters played well, and I mean, they deserved 2, 3, maybe 4 goals if not for Stuver. Some stats for Minnesota: they had 11 corners to our 1, and we had 6 saves to their 1. In terms of possession, we had 42% to Minnesota United's 58%, which Wolff definitely won't be happy about. 0.2 expected goals, or XG, to Minnesota United's 2.05. 3 shots, 1 on target for us, to Minnesota United's 14 shots, and 7 on target for them. And lastly, we only had 1 big chance created and missed, to Minnesota United's 5 and 4 missed. One thing I'd like to mention is I've thought this and shared this with those around me, and being a Barcelona fan, like I mentioned in my previous video, my introduction video, I see a pattern. It's kind of like Wolff's been taking a page from Barcelona. Maybe Rodo sees that too. And he's succeeding in playing like Barcelona from like 2017 to now. And by succeeding, I mean being as bad at executing a team that focuses on possession, fails to play from outside the back, and that has a quote-unquote soft mentality, as, you know, Will Bruin, former Austin FC striker, said last night on Twitter. Shout out to Dancing Bear as well. Maybe I can get him on here one day. But, yeah, the similarities are there. I see it in both teams. It's kind of bizarre. You know, you have one team who's one of the biggest teams in the world, and Austin. But, yeah, maybe it's just the Blaugrana tinted glasses. But, you know, I can see Wolff trying to use Barcelona as a reference point at our lowest point. But on the topic of Barcelona, I'd just like to ask, if whoever's watching this, if anyone's watching, listening, if you guys would like to come for me to cover, some Barcelona content as well, let me know. I haven't been able to watch as much of Barcelona as I've been focusing a little more on Austin. Barcelona, like I've mentioned, will forever be my team as well, but this channel specifically is for Austin. So again, just guys, let me know in the comments or on social media, wherever, if you guys would like to see me cover some Barcelona. I'll be more than happy to. But yeah. Okay, enough Barcelona talk. Back to Austin. For the second half, we started off relatively better, relatively stronger. Wolff didn't make any substitutions until the 58th minute when he brought on Jader O'Brien for Finley and Diego Rubio for Zardes to make the respective debuts for Austin FC, as well as Valencia for Gallagher. I personally was shocked at the last sub, as Gallagher was one of the few outfield players actually playing last night, and to take his spot at right back was Owen Wolff, which was also strange considering he was already having a poor match, as well as going on to play the full 90, Owen. So that was a bit strange. A lot of things happened as soon as our substitutions came on. We saw better dynamism up front with O'Brien. We saw Rubio show us things at striker that we hadn't seen so far from any other striker. We only saw about 30 minutes of each, so it's kind of early to tell, but it definitely seemed to be an improvement when those two came on. Lastly, I'd just like to say, let's try and be optimistic. I know it's hard to right now, but it's still early days and it's going to be a long season. We've been knowing this. Next up, we have Seattle away next Saturday, March 4th at Lumen Field, which I will be covering here on this channel, so don't miss it. As well as a build-up / news along the way. And yeah, I mean, the season is underway. It's exciting times, and, hopefully MLS, God's willing, Jersey is fit for that match, and we see Wolff start and play some of our new arrivals, especially Biro, who, credit to him, scored on his debut last night and played well, I thought, in his cameo. Definitely better than Kolmanic. But yeah, I feel sorry for him. His goal was overshadowed by our shit performance, and I honestly didn't even celebrate his goal. Like, at the time, I was just pissed off, from what we'd seen up to that point. But yeah, that's all for me for this video and the review, guys. I hope it's an improvement on the last video. I try to let people know who watched on Twitter and in the comments of it that I was having technical difficulties with file corruption, other bullshit. But I wanted to get that out regardless for those who tune in, and for myself at the end of the day. I said on Twitter, this is my first time trying to make any type of content, and it's probably obvious of that. This is a one-man army, so, any and all support means a lot to me in this channel. I've been putting this off for years, probably since my high school days. But yeah, I'm going to keep trying, grinding, and learning. And one more time, thank you guys for making it this far. Muchas gracias. I'll see y'all soon. And some he Austin. I'm still working on an outro, so be patient. But again, thank you guys very much. Bye.